In the heart of Nairobi, where the bustling cityscapes met the tranquility of Uhuru Park, a love story was about to unravel in the most dramatic fashion. For 3 years, Michael and Aisha had built a life together, marked by laughter, shared dreams, and the innocent giggles of their 2-year-old daughter, Tatiana. Michael, a successful entrepreneur, had spared no expense in planning their grand wedding, said to be the event of the year with a budget of 3 million shillings. Their journey seemed picture perfect. Aisha, with her radiant smile and nurturing spirit, had been the embodiment of grace and support for Michael, who adored her more than anything in the world. Tatiana was their pride and joy, her sparkling eyes a reflection of the deep bond they shared. The grand wedding was only weeks away, and every detail had been meticulously planned to celebrate their union. Enter Steve, a renowned relationship interviewer whose expertise lay in delving into the depths of couples' relationships, unraveling the truths that lay beneath the surface. Steve's job was to craft a narrative for the couple's wedding video, capturing the essence of their love story for all to see. Little did they know, this seemingly innocent interview would unearth secrets that would shake their world to its core. On a bright Saturday morning, Steve arrived at their home in Kilimani, a leafy suburb of Nairobi known for its quiet elegance. She was greeted warmly by Michael and Aisha, who were eager to share their love story. Tatiana played nearby, her laughter filling the air as Steve set up his camera equipment. The interview began smoothly, with Steve asking about their first meeting, their favorite memories, and their hopes for the future. As the conversation deepened, Steve's keen eye for detail led him to notice Aisha's phone, which she had nervously kept close to her throughout the interview. Sensing a hidden story, Steve tactically asked if he could take a closer look at their journey through their phones, photos, messages, the digital footprints of their relationship. Michael, ever the trusting partner, handed over his phone without hesitation. Aisha hesitated but eventually followed suit. Her hands trembling slightly, Steve began scrolling through their digital lives, piecing together a narrative. Suddenly, he paused, his eyes narrowing as he stumbled upon a string of messages on Aisha's phone. The texts were explicit, filled with passionate exchanges between Aisha and another man, John, their friend and the expected MC for their wedding. The messages revealed a shocking truth. John was Tatiana's biological father. As Steve delved deeper, he uncovered Aisha's confession of using Michael for his money, her double life as an escort, and her intimate encounters with multiple men, including threesomes. Steve's heart pounded as he realized the magnitude of what he had discovered. He looked up at Aisha, who was now visibly shaken, her facade crumbling. With a heavy heart, Steve knew he had to reveal the truth to Michael. He called Michael into the room, his expression grave. "Michael," Steve began, his voice steady yet compassionate, "there's something you need to see." Michael's eye darted from Steve to Aisha, confusion and concern etched on his face. Steve handed him the phone, the damning messages displayed for him to read. As Michael scrolled through the texts, his face palled, the reality of his fiancée's betrayal sinking in. "Is this true, Aisha?" Michael's voice was a whisper, laced with disbelief and pain. Aisha, tears streaming down her face, initially denied the accusation, but faced with the overwhelming evidence, she broke down, confessing everything. She admitted to being an escort, to using Michael for his wealth, and to her ongoing relationship with John. Michael stood there, shattered. The woman he loved, the child he cherished, the life he had built, all seemed like a cruel illusion. The room fell silent, the weight of the revelations pressing down on everyone. Tatiana, unaware of the storm brewing around her, continued to play innocently. Michael looked at her, his heart breaking as he realized she wasn't his daughter. The grand wedding, the future he had envisioned, lay in ruins at his feet. As the truth settled in, Michael knew he had to make a choice. The love he had for Aisha was real, but so was the betrayal. His life, his future, had changed in an instant. The road ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the wedding would not happen. The dream had turned into a nightmare, and Michael had to find a way to rebuild his life from the ashes of deception. Michael stood in stunned silence, the weight of Aisha's betrayal crushing over him like a tidal wave. The grand wedding, the future he had so meticulously planned, was now shattered. Aisha's tearful confession hung in the air, a stark reminder of the reality he now faced. Tatiana's innocent laughter seemed to mock the gravity of the moment, a painful contrast to the turmoil inside him. Steve, realizing the gravity of his revelation, packed up his equipment quietly, giving the couple space to confront the fallout of their broken dreams. He had unearthed a truth that could not be ignored, and now it was up to Michael to decide his next steps. Aisha reached out to Michael, her voice choked with emotions. "Michael, please let me explain. I never meant for this to happen. I do care about you, I really do." Michael took a step back, his eyes filled with hurt and disbelief. "Explain? You used me, Aisha. You lied to me about everything. How can you care about someone and do this to them?" Aisha collapsed into a chair, her face buried in her hands. "I was desperate, Michael. I needed the money and I didn't think it would get this far. But then I met you, and you were so kind, so loving. I didn't know how to tell you the truth without losing you. You should have thought about that before," Michael said, his voice trembling with anger. "I trusted you, I loved you, and you made a fool out of me and Tatiana." He stopped, choking on the words. The realization that Tatiana wasn't his daughter was a dagger to his heart. "What about her? Does she even know who her real father is?" Aisha looked up, her eyes red and swollen. "John knows, he and I. We thought it would be best if you thought she was yours for stability for the future. We didn't want to hurt you." Michael's laugh was hollow, devoid of humor. "Well, you failed spectacularly at that. You've hurt everyone involved." The doorbell rang, an unwelcome intrusion into the tense atmosphere. Michael walked over and opened it to find John standing there, his expression conflicted. He had likely heard the news from Aisha and had come to face the music. "Michael," John began, but Michael cut him off. "Don't. Just don't," Michael said, his voice cold. "You were supposed to be my friend. How could you do this to me?" John lowered his head, unable to meet Michael's gaze. "I'm sorry. We never intended for it to get this far. But Aisha and I, we have history. I thought it was over when she chose you, but it wasn't. I'm sorry." Michael clenched his fists, fighting the urge to lash out. "Sorry doesn't fix this, John. You've both ruined everything." He turned back to Aisha, his resolve hardening. "I can't do this. I can't marry you. I can't trust you. And I can't be a father to a child that isn't mine under these circumstances. You and John, you deal with this mess you've created." Aisha sobbed openly now, but Michael's mind was made up. He walked out, living beyond the home that had once been filled with love and dreams. He needed time to think, to figure out how to move forward from this betrayal. As they wandered through the streets of Nairobi, Michael felt the weight of his shattered dreams passed down on him. The wedding that was supposed to symbolize the start of a beautiful future was now a painful reminder of deceit and heartbreak. He had lost more than just a partner. He had lost his sense of trust and the life he had envisioned. But Michael was strong. He knew he would find a way to rebuild, to start anew. Nairobi was a city of resilience, and he would draw from its strength. The road ahead would be difficult, but he was determined to find his path and heal from the wounds left by Aisha's betrayal. For now, he needed to breathe, to let the pain wash over him, and eventually let it go. Only then could he start to envision a new future, one where truth and love will prevail. The bustling streets of Nairobi enveloped Michael as he walked aimlessly, his mind a whirlwind of emotions. The vibrant city, usually a source of inspiration and energy, now seemed indifferent to his suffering. He found himself at Uhuru Park, seeking solace amidst its greenery and calm. Sitting on a bench, he gazed at the tranquil waters of the lake, trying to make sense of the chaos that had become his life. Hours passed as Michael processed the betrayal, the lies and the loss. His phone buzzed incessantly, with calls and messages from concerned friends and family, but he ignored them all. He needed to be alone, to think about what to do next. Evening descended, casting a golden hue over the city when a familiar figure approached him. It was his sister, Miriam, who had always been his confidant and support. She sat beside him, her presence a silent comfort. "I heard what happened," Miriam said softly, her voice filled with concern. Aisha called me, but I wanted to hear it from you. Michael sighed deeply. It's all true, Miriam. Aisha was using me for my money. Tatiana isn't my daughter. And John? He betrayed me too. Miriam reached out, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. I'm so sorry, Michael. I can't even imagine how you must be feeling. But you don't have to go through this alone. We are here for you. Michael nodded, grateful for our support. I know. It's just that everything feels like it's falling apart. I don't know where to start picking up the pieces. You start by taking care of yourself. Miriam advised gently. Give yourself time to heal, and remember, you're not defined by this betrayal. You're strong, and you'll come out of this even stronger. Michael looked at his sister, her words offering a gleam of hope. Thank you, Miriam. I needed to hear that. They sat in silence for a while, the serene surroundings of the park offering a brief respite from the turmoil. As night fell, Michael felt a sense of clarity beginning to emerge. He realized that his future was no longer tied to Aisha and the lies she had spun. He had the power to redefine his path, to rebuild his life on his own terms. The next day, Michael returned to the house he had shared with Aisha, but this time with a firm resolve. He packed his belongings, leaving behind the memories that now felt tainted. Aisha watched silently, tears streaming down her face, but Michael remained resolute. He needed to distance himself from the pain and the deception. Michael moved in with Miriam temporarily, finding comfort in the familiarity of family. He decided to take a break from his busyness, delegating responsibilities to his trusted colleagues while he focused on healing. He sought therapy, determined to confront his emotions head-on and regain his sense of self. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Michael began to rebuild his life. He reconnected with friends, re-engaged with his passions, and allowed himself to dream again. Nairobi, with its vibrant energy and resilience, mirrored his own journey of recovery. One afternoon, as he strolled through the city, he encountered Steve, the interviewer whose revelations had shattered his world. Michael felt a mix of emotions but decided to approach him. Steve, Michael called out, catching his attention. Steve turned, surprise and concern in his eyes. Michael, how are you holding up? I'm getting there, Michael replied honestly. It's been tough, but I'm healing. I wanted to thank you. What you did? It was painful but necessary. Steve nodded, relief evident on his face. I'm glad you're finding your way through this. You deserve to be happy and to build a life based on truth. As they parted ways, Michael felt a sense of closure. He was no longer the man defined by betrayal, but someone who had faced the darkest truths and emerged stronger. Months later, Michael stood at the edge of a new beginning. He had decided to travel, to explore new horizons and rediscover himself. As he boarded a plane bound for a new destination, he looked back at Nairobi with gratitude. The city had been a witness to his heartbreak and his healing, a place where he had lost everything and then found himself again. With a renewed spirit and a heart open to new possibilities, Michael embraced the unknown, ready to write a new chapter in his life, one that will be defined by resilience, hope, and the unyielding strength to overcome. Michael's journey of self-discovery took him first to the coastal city of Mombasa. The warm Indian Ocean breeze and the rhythmic sounds of the waves crashing against the shores offered a stark contrast to the chaos he had left behind in Nairobi. Here, among the white sands and vibrant culture, Michael found the peace he desperately needed. He spent his days exploring the historic old town, immersing himself in the rich Swahili culture and savoring the flavors of the local cuisine. Mombasa's laid-back atmosphere allowed him to reflect on his life and the decisions he needed to make moving forward. Slowly, the pain of betrayal began to subside, replaced by a growing sense of clarity and purpose. One evening, while walking along the beach, Michael met a local artist named Zuri. She was painting the sunset, capturing the hues of orange and pink with remarkable skill. Drawn by her talent and the serenity she exuded, Michael struck up a conversation with her. Zuri's warmth and wisdom were like a balm to his wounded soul. As they talked, Michael found himself opening up about his past, something he hadn't done with anyone outside of his family. Zuri listened intently, her eyes reflecting empathy and understanding. She shared her own stories of heartbreak and healing, creating a bond between them, you know? Zuri said, one evening as they watched the sun dip below the horizon, art has a way of healing the soul. Have you ever thought about expressing your journey through art? Michael had always admired art but had never considered it as a medium for his own healing. Inspired by Zuri's suggestion, he decided to give it a try. He began painting, using his emotions as a palette. Each stroke of the brush became a cathartic release, allowing him to process his pain and transform it into something beautiful. Weeks turned into months, and Michael's paintings started gaining attention. Tourists and locals alike admired his work. Drawn to the raw emotions and depth captured on the canvas, he even held a small exhibition at a local gallery, where his pieces were met with acclaim. For the first time since the betrayal, Michael felt a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. One day, while walking through the market, Michael received an unexpected phone call. It was from Steve, the interviewer who had unknowingly set him on this path of self-discovery. "Michael, I hope you're doing well," Steve said. "I wanted to check in and see how you are holding up." "I'm doing better, Steve. Much better," Michael replied, a genuine smile on his face. "I'm actually in Mombasa painting and finding a new direction in life." "That's wonderful to hear," Steve said, relief evident in his voice. "I've been thinking about your story and I believe it has the potential to inspire others. Will you be open to sharing your journey in a broader platform, perhaps a documentary?" Michael paused, considering the idea. He had found healing in sharing his story with Zuri, and through this art, perhaps sharing it on a larger scale could help others facing similar struggles. "I think I'd like that," Michael said finally. "If my story can help others find their way through the darkness, then it's worth sharing." The documentary project began to take shape, with Steve capturing Michael's journey from the heartbreak in Nairobi to his artistic rebirth in Mombasa. Through interviews, candid moments, and scenes of Michael creating his art, the documentary painted a vivid picture of resilience and transformation. The project brought Michael back to Nairobi for a brief period, where he reconnected with old friends and family. He visited places that once held painful memories, but now viewed them through a lens of growth and acceptance. Nairobi, with its hustle and bustle, no longer felt like a place of betrayal but a chapter in a story of resilience. The documentary premiered to an audience of friends, family, and strangers, all eager to witness Michael's journey. As the final credits rolled, Michael stood up to address the audience. "I've learned that life doesn't always go as planned," he began, his voice steady. "But it's in the moments of our greatest trials that we discover our true strength." This journey has been one of pain, healing, and ultimately transformation. I hope my story reminds you that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always light on the other side. The audience erupted in applause, many moved to tears by his words. Among them, Michael spotted Aisha and Jan, who had come to support him despite their past. They approached him afterward, expressions of regret and gratitude on their faces. "Michael," Aisha said softly, "I'm so sorry for everything. Seeing your journey has been humbling. You've become an incredible person." Michael nodded, his heart at peace. "Thank you, Aisha. I forgive you and you both. We all make mistakes, but we can choose to learn and grow from them." With that, Michael turned to his future, a future defined by resilience, hope, and the unyielding strength to overcome. His journey was far from over, but he was ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing he had the power to transform even the deepest pain into profound beauty. As Michael continued his journey, he found that each day brought new opportunities and experiences. His story, now documented and shared, had touched many lives. People from all over reached out to him, sharing their own stories of betrayal, healing, and resilience. Michael's inbox was filled with messages of gratitude and encouragement, each one reinforcing his belief in the power of vulnerability and authenticity. Back in Mombasa, Michael's relationship with Zuri deepened. Their connection was effortless, built on mutual respect and understanding. Zuri's presence had become a cornerstone of his new life, her warmth and creativity fueling his own artistic endeavors. They spent countless hours together painting, exploring the city, and dreaming about the future. One evening, as they sat by the bench watching the sunset, Michael turned to Zuri with a thoughtful expression. "You've been my rock, Zuri. I don't think I would have come this far without you." Zuri smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden hues of the setting sun. "And you've inspired me in ways you can't imagine, Michael. Watching you transform your pain into art has been a privilege. I think we make a good team." Michael reached for her hand, a sense of clarity washing over him. "I want to build a life with you, Zuri. Not just here in Mombasa, but wherever our paths take us. Will you join me?" Tears welled up in Zuri's eyes as she nodded, her smile radiant. "Yes, Michael, I'd love that." With Zuri by his side, Michael's world felt complete. Together, they embarked on new adventures, traveling to different parts of Kenya and beyond, drawing inspiration from the diverse landscapes and cultures they encountered. Their love for art and each other blossomed, leading to collaborative projects that garnered attention and acclaim. In time, Michael's art evolved from personal catharsis to a platform for social commentary. He began creating pieces that addressed pressing issues in Kenya and the broader African continent, such as environmental conservation, social justice, and cultural heritage. His work resonated deeply with people, sparking conversations and inspiring action. One of their most impactful projects was a series of murals painted underserved communities across Kenya. These vibrant artworks depicted the stories, struggles, and hopes of the local people, transforming public spaces into sources of pride and inspiration. Michael and Zuri worked alongside community members, involving them in the creative process and fostering a sense of ownership and empowerment. As their influence grew, they founded an organization called Art for Change, dedicated to using art as a tool for social transformation. Through workshops, exhibitions, and public art installations, they aim to inspire creativity, promote dialogue, and drive positive change in communities across Africa. Years passed and Michael's life had come full circle. The boy who once felt shattered by betrayal had become a man who channeled his pain into purpose. His story of resilience and rebirth had not only healed him, but had also inspired countless others to find their own strength and courage. One day, Michael received an invitation to speak at a prestigious international conference on art and social impact. The event, held in Paris, brought together artists, activists, and thought leaders from around the world. Michael and Zuri traveled to the City of Lights, excited for the opportunity to share their journey and connect with like-minded individuals. As Michael stood on the stage, looking out at the diverse audience, he felt a surge of gratitude. He began his speech, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "Ladies and gentlemen, my story began with heartbreak, but it led to a journey of healing and transformation. Art has the power to transcend pain, to bring people together, and to ignite change. Through our work, Zuri and I have witnessed the incredible impact of creativity on individuals and communities. We believe that art is not just a reflection of society, but a catalyst for its evolution. Let us continue to use our talents to inspire, to heal, and to build a better world for all." The audience erupted in applause, moved by his words and the authenticity of his journey. As Michael and Zuri left the stage, they felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Their work was far from over, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing they had each other and the power of art to guide them. Under the shimmering lights of the Eiffel Tower, Michael and Zuri made a promise to each other and to the world to continue their mission of transforming pain into beauty, darkness into light, and dreams into reality. Their journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless possibilities that arise when love and creativity converge. And so, their story continued, a tapestry of hope and inspiration, woven with the threads of their past and the promise of a brighter future.